Hello everybody, this is Large Enemy Spider. Today we'll be playing Zenless Zone Zero 2.0. I'll be going over my account, my current account status, and what we're sitting at, just so no one's confused about how fast or how slowly I clear something, because there's some of my characters that are overtuned and wailed out and do a lot more damage than what a C0 would. So we'll go over that. I'm a collector. I did skip Hugo just because I'm just not interested in the character. Probably a great ice unit, I'm sure. I did the demo and I was like, okay, well, it's fine, right? But the great thing about Zenless Zone Zero is that every character is viable in my eyes. Every character is good and can be, if built properly in a good team, you can clear all the content. With the exception of maybe some of the harder in-game content that's timed. Specifically the timed stuff. I think with the infinite amount of time, any team could get through any content just because of how the iframes work, the swapping, and whatever. The gameplay is incredibly solid. It's not goofy like Genshin Impact where it's, you kind of like hop and dodge, but the iframes, you know what? You would get it if you played it. All right. I'm going to be avatar off for this whole thing. One, my avatar is really shaky because the lighting in the room I'm recording from isn't the best. Also, it takes away from the experience. It's not going to add anything to the experience. For Valkyria Chronicles, it does add a little bit to the experience since the gameplay is a little dry. But for this, it'll be avatar off. All right, I'm going to swap out and enjoy. So I'm not going to go over the UI elements just yet, but it looks like it's a massive change. Looks like the button to open the teleport menu. Hold up. It's D-pad. Okay. That's nice. It's better than scrolling over ad infinitum to try to get to where you need to go. Although 6th Street is so crammed full of stores that, I mean, it is a one-stop shop, so in the most literal sense. All right, we're going to go by attribute.
Take me.
So we'll start with Caesar. And my Caesar is C2. And the reason why I have her C2 is because I got a dupe of her. I wanted this one. So the one where she enters combat, she instantly buffs the entire team. Basically, she gets her shield on entering combat. You don't have to wait to get energy or run in and just poke the dude to get the stuff. Also, the 5-meter radius, the shred, the 15%, is actually kind of just cherry on top. But luckily, I got a double pull on her at pity, which is wild. But this one, it boosts her regeneration rate, which she was already throwing out her X special fairly often. But this one, she almost has an abundance of energy that I almost never use, unless it's like the worst situation ever and I have to do parries. But the benefit to Caesar is that you can do perfect parry even without energy if you time it right. Yep, and it's the attack boost. It goes up by 150% so of its original value. So her attack buff is higher. Well, I'm not going to compare her attack buff compared to the other attack buffers. It's pretty comparable. And she does have the resistance. I'm not going to go over discs at all. I use either the community, the proxy recommended discs, or sometimes the only ones I'm going to go over are the ones that deviate from basically internet recommendations or Hoyoverse recommendations, which I believe is just a singular character that deviates, and that's Lucy. I basically max out the skills that I feel like I need to, but otherwise Caesar, you shield and then you walk off. And she does have her signature engine. Every single character I have has their SIG engine. Okay, Jane Doe, C0. Completely fine as C0. I have no complaints. I use her all the time. I like to pair her with either Pulchra or Lucy, generally. Seth is an excellent choice for a defensive option, especially if she's ahead in the order, because he swaps back instead of swapping forward, and is definitely a complement to her strategy. Not much to say here. She does have her SIG engine, and I do basically have her almost maxed out. Okay, Piper, she's C6. I pull a lot, so yeah, she's C6. Not much to say there. Her C6 makes her power spin way more reliable. We can take a look at that. Increases duration of engine spin by 2 seconds and extends power duration by 4. A lot of it is based around her power spin. No, not that one. Yeah, energy recovery every 30 seconds, which is, and that's any attribute anomaly. So if she's paired with another anomaly, like if it was her and Jane, I know Jane likes to have a lot of on-field time, but Piper has her energy regeneration is iffy, and she uses a lot for X special, so it's kind of good to have her out of pocket. Just know that a lot of people don't use Piper properly, because you're supposed to do like 1, 2, 3 spin, or some people just raw dog into the spin instead of getting the maximum turn acceleration coming off the 3rd hit. Pulchra, she's C6. I got a little scared because she's free, right? Like you get her for free, but I ended up pulling for, I don't remember what banner she was on. She was on a couple of banners in a row, but basically I was pulling for somebody else. I got oh my gosh, who's that? Grace cucked me out of like my 5th 50-50, and I was completely enraged. But well, anyways, I have so many of her because I kept getting cucked out of my 50-50 when I was trying to get the whatever character I was trying to get. Like I said, I can't remember. Oh, it was Vivian. I think I was trying to get Vivian. No, it was Trigger. I was trying to get Trigger, and then I ended up getting Pulchra. I got her twice, 2 times in a row. So basically, I had her at C3 after 2 10 pulls. And I was like, and so I decided to complete the quest I needed to get the free Pulchra before it was just completely wasted. So I had to stop pulling and move on. I don't really, especially with 4 stars, I don't read their cinemas that much. Because honestly, I've never experienced her at C0. I only know her at C6. I'm sure it's a bunch of stun damage, probably some crits, some buffing, and all that stuff. Great unit. She's a good all-rounder, works with a lot of units. Okay, Corin is physical attacker, right? So she's also C6 because she's a 4-star. She's a very good on-field DPS. Now, she is relatively sedentary whenever she executes her attacks, but having a good shielder of some sort, or knowing how to basically animation cancel and dodge out of her X special and her holds helps out a lot. But she deals out a ton of damage. You can build her crit, right? You can have her as a crit attacker, or if you feeling spicy, you can pair her with characters that boost anomaly, and you can actually raise her anomaly proficiency, anomaly mastery to proc more assaults. There's Billy. I don't have him level up all the way, but he's definitely a good character. Once again, if built properly. His signature engine requires distance, and I believe one of his cinemas requires distance in order for it to stack, which can be difficult in certain fights, but he's not bad. Nekomata, I mean, she's stolen 5 50-50s for me so far, so that's great. I guess I said that no character's bad in Zenless, and I still don't think Nekomata is that bad. It's just that her main part of her kit is dodging things and then attacking, then dodge counters, right? The thing is most other attackers have that mechanic. Like Zhu Yuan, she has that mechanic where she dodges, she gets an enhanced round, and then you fight, right? Like almost all of them have some sort of dodge counter boost. So I think her kit they need to take another look at it. I understand she's standard, so that's not likely to happen, but I would like to see something else, Oh, Koleda, I liked your old voice, but I also like the fact that your voice is back. So unfortunately, Koleda is one of the standard banner 4-stars that I use the most often. She is not exactly a lighter supplement, but what's really good with fire stunners specifically is they seem so electro stunners, the ice stunners, and the physical stunners, and basically everyone else. The fire stunners, but they do a lot of damage. They add a bunch of stun in a very short, with very few swings. Like for her, it's like boom, 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 and it's like a ton of stun is applied. It's very quick, immediate gain whenever you apply stun. Both her and Lighter are fantastic at that. And she does have synergy with Ben Bigger. Ben Bigger, obviously, he's a couple rows over, so we'll talk about him a little bit. All right, Burnice, C0. She's all right. I don't think I have her built properly, to be quite honest. I don't use her that often. Fire Anomaly. I have Anomaly proficiency in Anomaly Master on her, but from what I understand, swapping her out for crit is also viable. If she's with someone she's synergized, I don't know. Burnice, okay. I got her because she's a part of the Sons of Caledon. I do have her SIG engine. She's kind of on the bench right now because I don't know nor have the desire to do anything with her, to be honest. Ben Bigger, fantastic all-rounder. He has the highest attack in my entire roster next to Soukaku. Incredibly tanky. Can take a huge hit. Can deal a wild amount of damage for burst damage. His stun buildup, his impact buildup is incredibly high from not being an impact character. Ben Bigger, I would have to say hands down, is the most versatile character in game when it comes to build diversity. So having a attack-based Ben is viable. And I don't mean like straight attack. Like go out there and find like DPS Ben Bigger builds, and you'll find one that works in what team comp you should run. Does a astronomical amount of damage. You can clear Deadly Assault with him, but you can also have him as a major defense shielder character as well, with like sub stun, right? Because his guard counters do apply a lot of impact to the enemy. Fantastic character. And here's Lucy. She's my favorite support. Very, very short on-field time. Long buff at whenever she's at C6. And I think it's her C6. Oh, okay. So we'll explain this last one. But this is the part. Extended duration of cheer on buff for all squad members and Bang Boo, and for the guard boards themselves by 5 seconds. This duration can increase up to 3 times, so basically maximum duration through 30 seconds. So her buff lasts for 30 seconds as long as people land X special attacks. They land X special attacks, extends the duration of her buff by 5 seconds. What makes this interesting is that there's no limit to how many guard boars she can drop from the sky. And there's an internal cooldown for whenever they land, but basically the rhythm is boom, 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 boom. Like they just fall down like meteors. Characters that this works incredibly well with is Lucy Piper, because when she goes into power spin, she's like Garen from she's just going boom, 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 like hitting him continuously, and these guard boars are just pelting him with 300% damage, which is also a percentage of Lucy's damage. Lucy builds attack, so it's a really high base damage. It's not like the go-to thing. It's just really funny to watch. It's incredibly effective for Lucy Piper combos. Also Lucy Burnice, because Burnice has a sustained fire as well, where she puts out her flamethrowers and then has additional boars land on top of it. Corin does. Corin can make the fire boars come down continuously. Probably missed one. It's not really the point here. I just really like it. Now, her build is different. And for those of you who play Zenless, you can immediately see what's going on here. You can tell I play my Lucy primarily with assault characters. So we got Hormone Punk for the attack percentage. And we have Fanged Metal for physical damage for the guard boars. And Assault. So whenever a squad member inflicts assault on the enemy, the equipper deals 35% additional damage to the target for 12 seconds. So what this means is that if someone else on our team lands a assault, so if it's it could be anybody, I guess. It could be maybe a Pulchra Aftershock does it, or a Piper, or Jane. They perform an assault on the target, then she gets a buff for 35%. That transfers over to the guard boars. The guard boars do more physical damage. And then if she fly balls, which is so her, and the rest of this stuff is standard. So attack, fire damage, attack, right? Some people go attack, attack, attack. I believe you can get attack on this one. But they go attack, attack, attack. But I went for fire damage because I like, basically it's a Lucy Mortar build. Because when she gets that buff, it hits like a truck. Obviously I have her 16 out of 16. So fly ball, or home run. So home run, 1200% damage. And then you can do the math. She ends up smacking them for like 80 grand sometimes. A lot of fun. It's really just for fun. But her high invincibility frames on home run and the short on field time actually usually makes her the final, like the last surviving member of any team. If I'm getting mixed really hard, she's usually the last living person on the battlefield, just because she's just so quick at execution when it comes to her X special, and it activates so quickly with very little movement. It's great. It's almost all of her animations have her stationary the whole time. So someone comes in for a big swing, you either basically do a pop fly or you do a home run, and you can basically avoid the whole thing together. You get another guard boar on field. Also, another big thing is you got to make sure the guard boars go into their frenzied state where they spin around whenever the enemy is stationary. It works incredibly well. Evelyn, she's my primary fire DPS. I use her all the time. I love playing her. Of course, it's the lesbian couple. You're gonna have Evelyn and Astra together, plus +1 to the party. So you have those two +1. Usually it'll be Lucy, right? But not for assault. It's just for her straight attack buff, right? So it could be Lucy, it could be Koleda. I don't remember what else. Whenever I do my dailies, you'll see some of the teams I roll with frequently. I like electricity builds for the most part. I don't know why, but most of my stuff is electricity. Lighter, you love him. So he's C0, and at C0, he's still awesome. Period. Like he's the best fire stunner in the game, especially if you have ice and fire on your team. I'm not gonna say any more about that. I didn't get any more lighters this last thing with Hugo because I was just like, he's fine. He's fine as is. I could use a little more, like, leveling up a little bit here and there, and his W engine isn't actually. Let me fix that. Should be. Oh shoot. Well, that's booty. All right. Well, whatever. Well, it doesn't matter. I guess this is kind of the time for the talk where you don't need to have your characters at level 60. You just don't. The gain for anything past level 50 it's kind of moot. The only thing, am I restricted? Yeah, okay. So their last passive requires level 60, and a lot of these last ones, I believe, require level 60. But it's not necessary. So if you go, I don't want to shill for another channel, but I'm just gonna go. Yeah, it's not really shilling, I guess. Ketz, KETZ. So that's Kilo Echo Tango Zulu. His channel he generally just runs. He goes up to like 45, level 45, and then that's it. And he clears all the content just as well. He uses kind of like Dark Soul-ish tactics where, you learn the fight, right? Whereas I'm a filthy casual, and generally, I just want the the laziest, simplest way to get through the fight. Soldier 11, if you have no other fire attack characters, I recommend using Soldier 11. You're gonna have to get used to her cadence, the 1, 2, 3. The thing is, the reason why she's not built is because I believe I got another character before. Like, I pulled her and I leveled up a little bit, and then I didn't build her. I think it's because I was already running Lucy Piper. I think I was already running Lucy Piper +1, and I might have already had Koleda, so I was happy with using Piper and Lucy. Now they weren't none of them were C6 or anything. This was very early in the game, but I can't remember I don't even remember which banner 4-star was after Helen, to be honest. I forgot how few there's so few ice characters. Hey, does anyone want me to talk about Miyabi? Okay, the reason why I C2'd Miyabi. So, thing is, she has Frostfire stacks, right? And I loved the damage that she was dealing at C0. It was great. It was, but just like Ellen, I was like, Ellen was far worse with this, but I was like, man, I want Frostfire stacks, dude. I want to do that cool, like, the storm that is approaching, like, just, like, do the cool stuff. And I was like, well, how do I do that? So I looked at her C's. So basically, her basic attack, which is the end of her attack chain, is basic attack Kazahana, and the dodge counter damage increases by 30%. Gain 1 point of Fallen Frost. Final move of the 5th hit, the basic attack. Yeah. So basically, you do your 5-hit combo on the basic attack, and you get 1 pip. And then when you do your X special, you gain more, and then you can execute it. And then this last sentence: upon entering battlefield, she gets 6 Fallen Frost, and her crit rate. Basically, it says, and her crit rate increases by 15%. It just is permanently up by 15%. And her crit rate translates into, I believe it's anomaly proficiency. And she's well over 70% crit right meow, which is low for some of the min-maxers out there, but I'm like, whatever, dude. But that's the reason I got the Cinema 2, is because I wanted to get those Fallen Frost stacks, because I just didn't want to just wait for my X special to come up to go do a thing. And she is one of the few characters I have that is actually maxed out on the things that matter. Although I would like the ult to be at level 12, but there's other characters that need love, and I'm not going to use Miyabi for everything. In fact, I use Miyabi. I try to challenge myself to not use her, is the best way to say it, because she makes things so easy that I'm like, well, this is not why I started playing this game. That's silly. And it's Soukaku. I love Soukaku. She's C6. C6 does a bunch of stuff. Okay, so there's sometimes when I go into combat with Soukaku, whenever you bring up the little score screen at the end, there's about... If Miyabi's not in the team, there's almost 100% chance Soukaku has done more damage than everyone else on the team. Straight up. Even if there's an attacker that was like on field longer than her, she still does more damage. She hits people so freaking hard with that banner, it's actually insane. And it's not even like crits and stuff, it's just raw damage. It's just pure power. You hook her up with a shielder. Like, she's really good with Caesar because her attack combos are really slow. She's effectively great sword moves. And it's good to have that anti-interrupt. So she normally doesn't get interrupted during her auto attacks, is the thing. But she does take a crap ton of damage if she's just getting wailed on during her long combos. Now, her combos do, if she does have the Frosted Banner state, have a way higher likelihood at staggering the enemy. Like, basically, like, they're like, whoa, you know? So, yep, ice resistance reduced by 10%. I like these simpler, shorter passives. So when she does stuff, so 15% chance she gains 1 sec of Vortex. See, that's not great. Reaches max. And that's a benefit. If you max your stacks out, or if you did something, like, you know, you're just not in a position, like if it's a mobile boss, or like a mobile target that you know is going to jump away or something, it's not good for you to Vortex on them, because what's going to happen is you're going to Vortex, they're going to jump away, and you're not going to hit that last pip of damage, which triggers the quick assist. And then you're just standing there like an idiot, and and your Vortex, and you just wasted all of your Vortex stacks. That 15% chance she gets 1 sec of Vortex, that procs more often than you think it does if she's on field long enough. But here's Ellen. I'm going to admit, I didn't pull Ellen when she first came up. I played her demo, and I didn't like the playstyle. I still don't like the playstyle, to be honest. I don't like the fact that you have to dash, then attack, then dash. You know what I mean? You have to do the whole shark hunting thing. It just doesn't feel like the payoff is there. Now, if you were to go into that like hunting, stalking kind of state, and then you come out of it and you just do astronomical amount of damage. Like, if you calculate the DPS of, say, Miyabi minus 15%, and like calculate that into her travel time, and then she hits with the like a X amount of accumulated time that she's been hunting, that would have been a better mechanic. So she dashes, she goes into the sharky state where she's like basically circling her prey, and then say the maximum build-up duration is 1.5 seconds. So 1/1000 to, you know, like she gets the maximum, there's a little meter or something, and then you basically jump at the, you know what I mean? Like that would have been cooler, and it would have been, the payoff would have been there, I think. I do plan on test driving the new buffs on her. Lycaon. He's the only Frost Stunner, and I use him more now. So the reason I use him more now is because of this. If Lycaon is attack while using a basic attack or special attack, he will immediately gain a shield equal to 7.5% of his HP, lasting for 15 seconds. During the shield's duration, his any interrupt level is increased. This effect can trigger once every 15 seconds. The biggest problem I had with Lycaon, in playing Lycaon, was that he would just get mowed down. Like, I tried to do a combo, like boom, boom, you know, charge and whatever, right? And then I would just get blasted. I just get blasted and send it across the arena. I was just like, oh, Lord. It's not like Qingyi, and she just keeps doing her Blossom thing, and we'll get to Qingyi in a bit. But I like Lycaon. The fact that I had to get to Cinema 4 for me to field him more often is whatever. Yep, don't own Hugo. I might get him later. Like, the collector in me really wanted to get him, but I'm going to show you why financially that would be a bad decision, because I'm going to show you what bad financial decisions get you. I mean, obviously, you can see that I have spent money on this game, because there's no way I would have been able to C2 so many characters without it, right? Okay. So Zhu Yuan, she is the only, but also my favorite attacker. What has enabled Zhu Yuan is actually Trigger. Straight up. Zhu Yuan was okay, and then, Zhu Yuan was okay, and then Trigger came out, and that's when things got freaking wild. So, and why do you ask? It's because you can have Qingyi, Trigger, and Zhu Yuan all in one team, and Zhu Yuan loves it whenever the enemy is stunned, and you can stun the living daylights out of a boss with Qingyi plus Trigger. because Qingyi's on field, triggers aftershocking off field. It's great. It boosts your game significantly. Of course, everyone's like, "What about Astra? What about this?" And I was just like, "No, no. We are shooting and hitting people with 3-section staffs in this hood." Okay, so C1 is her quick reload, which chain attack ultimate. She gains your enhanced shells, and those are overflow shells. So if you already have all 9 shells prepared, or all 6, I think, is it 6 or 9? Either way, basically, if your first magazine is full and you do a chain attack or an ultimate, there's an overflow for a quick reload. So you can actually fire off a ton of enhanced shells, like one after another after another. So generally how it goes is that you'll save your ultimate, you put Qingyi out there, and then with trigger or whatever, you get to the stun, you make sure the chain attacks are in the order to which Zhu Yuan is on field at the end of the whole chain attack thing. You can, if you have manual chain attacks on, just cancel the chain attack. It's not worth it. And then you just have Zhu Yuan ult, and you just keep blasting. Occasionally, like, weave in a couple of auto attacks, and then just hold down that attack button. Just boom, 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 just over and over again. Like, and you'll absolutely nuke down whatever your target is. Okay, so suppressive mode. So she's tankier in suppressive mode, which is the one where you hold down and use enhanced shells. When she hits an enemy, she does... Oh, this is a recent one. So I didn't get this when I first pulled her. When I first pulled her, I only had quick reloads over C1. I actually intentionally went for her C2 because I like the character, but she wasn't performing as well. This is before Trigger came out, and this does a lot of work. That's why you should be in suppressive mode and actually slam the enhanced shells. And this also helps with Astra Yao teams, with your Vivian teams, and with Nicole. Nicole, by the way, is a very good support for Zhu Yuan if you don't have Trigger. She's actually... Nicole, by and large, is one of the best supports in the game, and don't at me about that. Her defense shred... We'll get to Nicole. I forgot. We're in the ether category. We'll get to Nicole. So every time you hit, 10%, stacks up 5 times, so it's 50%. And that's a multiplicative. That's like a scaling. You know what I mean? It's damage. But, and it's for 5 seconds, and it resets the duration. So it's for 5 seconds. You hit them again, it resets the duration for 5 seconds, and you can continue. Which means that if you're in a situation where they're not in a stun state, but you have your X special up, but you have all your enhanced shells for whatever reason, that you can basically fire off 3, X special, fire off 3, and you're not going to drop the stacks. Nicole, the best starter character. Her duration on her shred is incredibly low. Here you go. We'll start C6 and go backwards. She has a lot of good buffs. Their duration is horrendously short, but it's good for characters like Zhu Yuan or the more bursty DPS. So when her energy fields deal damage to the enemy, all units crit rate against that enemy increases by 1.5 up to 100 times, or up to 10 times. 100 times, that'd be wild. And lasting for 12 seconds, and the duration of each stack is calculated separately. So the way her field works, it lands, and it's a tick, it's a dot. So it's an AoE dot. It's like pop, 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 pop. It's actually, the ticks are pretty fast. I don't know if you can, the duration that the 10 times is up, 12 seconds is a pretty long time. Considering, right? She does require a lot of energy to fire off her charge shots, but generally her energy regeneration is absurd. Between her W engine and usually like her normal disc configuration, she's gonna be regenerating energy all the freaking time. Even though like it's expensive, like she's one of the most expensive units to fire off her charged X special specifically. So when Nicole uses X special attack, chain attack, or ultimate, diameter in the energy field generated, target location is 3 meters. That's a lot. If you look at a standard Nicole and you look at a what is a C4? A C4 Nicole. The ball she shoots out is huge. Is actually massive. 5 energy. So 5 energy is not a lot. And I can tell you that mechanical case, I guess you could spritz a little bit on it, but mechanical case isn't good. So it's a defense shred thing, but the defense shred is so short that it's meh. I'll talk a little bit about that. She has good anomaly buildup, and anomaly buildup, X special, blah blah. You can build her anomaly if you wanted to. Actually, I think I have her. I'll check the discs real quick, but I believe I have a splash of anomaly on her. Yeah, we'll check her discs right now. Yeah, I have her alt costume, which is way racier than her default. Yeah, she's stacked. I mean by the skills. Everyone calm down. Okay, so I have, yep, energy regen, ether damage bonus. Yep, I have anomaly proficiency on her. Or corruption. Corruption is good if Zhu Yuan triggers corruption. It does more damage with her ether stuff. It's all ether based. Astra Yao. Yeah, I got her fit too. Thing is, they need to start releasing more outfits. I don't know why. So Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail have screwed up so freaking bad and dropped the ball on cosmetics. It blows my mind because it's so for a company like that. Like, listen, if VTubers out there can just create alt outfits for their 3D avatars and crap like that, there's absolutely no reason that every single character in Genshin should at least have, by this point, after 4 years, should have 8 or 9 additional skins available just for purchase, straight up purchase. There's no reason for it. All right, so she's not maxed out, but she's not maxed out for the same reason that some of my other characters are. It's steep. To get them up to level 60 requires so many. For the amount of resources it takes for them to get from even 56 to 60, I could get a character to like level 30. That's not like, that's just like me guessing at the math, but it basically, that's what it feels like. Yeah, she's C0. She doesn't need to be any higher than that. Moving on. Like, she's a buffer. Build her right and she'll do you good. You want a C6er, you can. It's not really necessary. Her C2 is probably great. Astra Yao is on the banner, so if you really want to go for it, the C2 her, go ahead. I'm not going to. Vivian, I pulled her because it was a collector thing, because I think she's, I don't know. I guess cute's not the word. It has to be like, I think it's funny. Like, she's just a legit stalker. I think maybe that's why I pulled her. Yeah, she has her engine. Not much to say here. She has a lot of inherent, like, physical, like, hitbox evasion, because whenever she goes airborne, a lot of attacks will go under her, including ground slams and stuff like that. She's a very good anomaly support. Straight up. Like, she does good off-field damage, but getting those anomaly procs is fantastic. However, so she's ether. So I had that question earlier. I was like, what is sheer force? What? Automatic adrenaline accumulation? What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Sheer force and what is that? Can I look at it? What's sheer force? Live service games is just, I had an epiphany. It was like a month ago or something, that I was like, what am I doing? Right? I was like, logging in every day. Like, it was actually stressing me out because of the FOMO. I was like, oh, I gotta log in. Oh, I gotta like, it was something I had to do. Like, I was ordered to do it. And I don't know when it clicked that I should just not do that, but it's kind of where I'm at right now. I have so much built up battery power. I think it's like 700, 800. That's probably enough for a disc farm. All right, Rina. Boom, C1. I don't really use Rina, to be honest. However, built pretty good for pen ratio. The thing about Rina is the internet will tell you that Rina is not good. And that is blatantly false. Because Rina is good. But Rina is not, she's not flashy. You don't really see like numbers go up. You don't see like it's not. She's doing stuff, right? She is applying like basically a flat defense shred or giving penetration to your characters. It just doesn't feel impactful. Like it just doesn't feel like it doesn't have that oomph. Even her attacks like don't feel like they have a big punch to them. Like some like lighter. You go and she's like boom boom boom. It's like a bunch of explosions. Koleda's exploding everywhere. Yanagi is coming from the freaking sky and doing a pole dance. Like it's all flashy and crazy. But she's a good character. She's worth having, right? I wouldn't pull for her, right? I wouldn't like use a selector on her. But if you have her, you might want to think about building her in an electric team. She's a decent support. And she can swap pretty often. Energy regen is on the low side. She's not like on the level of, say, Lucy or Nicole, even though those two are 4 stars. They have their energy regen is better. Rina's all about like trying to keep her little dolls on the field and stuff. Decent character. Yanagi, I feel like I'm playing her wrong. I never have enough energy to do what I want with her, and I stay in the electro staff stance all the time. When I play her, it just feels like user error, to be quite honest. She's C0, and she's one of those characters that, because I have so many good electro characters, well, I say so many, I have like 3 staple electro characters, which we're about to get to, that I'm like, meh, if I need a disorder character, this is where, like, if the little debuff is like, whenever you inflict disorder, this boss loses a certain amount of defense, or stun goes up or something, I'll use Yanagi. But otherwise, she's kind of on the bench. Qingyi! Whenever Qingyi had a rerun, I C2'd her. Straight up. Because as soon as I got her the first time, I tried her out, I was just like, oh, it's pretty cool, I like it, you know, it's fun. She's a good electro stunner. And then I was curious one day, and I was like, whoa, what's her cinemas? I read the first one, I was just like, ugh. You know, like, this is what I should have done. So, she enters combat, she has Flash Connect. Like, straight up. Like, you walk in with Flash Connect, and the accumulation rate is increased by 30%. So basically, you do your crazy flower dancing for 30% less time, which is fantastic. It feels so good. If it's at its maximum, that's like so if it's 75%, you can launch your Moonlit Blossoms, but you can go farther than that, up to 100%. And then, reduce the defense of the enemy hit by 15%. And Chinger's crit rate against the enemy goes up by 20%. She's one of so how stun mechanics work. So you want to maximize your impact as much as you can. You want to buff your crit rate as much as you can, and try to keep your attack pretty high. So the amount of impact a character deals is a function of the base damage dealt and a multiplier by impact, if that makes sense. That's why some characters who do an insane amount of damage, like just insane raw damage, like say Soukaku. Soukaku doesn't have any impact, but she hits so freaking hard that she ends up staggering enemies anyway, right? So that's both. And then the second one is her stun multiplier goes up for each subjugation. So you want to do Blossom, and then you want to dodge attacks until Blossom is full, execute the charge attack, and then you can rinse and repeat, or you can swap out. Depends on how close you feel like you are. But once that subjugation hits its maximum level, you're going to see that daze bar just skyrocket straight up. And here it is. My pride and joy and my shame. Trigger. That's right, that's a C6 Trigger. Oh. But I love Trigger as a character. Favorite character, by far. That's the only reason I C6'd her. And because she's C6, she's a freaking monster. Okay, let's start with her C1. So her stun damage multiplier goes up. And then, so whenever it says basic attack harmonizing shot or basic attack Tartarus, that also refers to her aftershocks as well. So her basic attack is her aftershock, if that makes sense. So all of it kind of blurs together. The aftershock is aftershock when it comes to like disk drives, but whenever it says basic attack or whatever, whenever she starts to go into her C values, the basically purge, and she also stacks additional debuffs. So purge is the meter that she uses at long range that builds up. So her C1, just like Qingyi's, sort of. Actually, it's kind of the same thing, but not really. But her purge, her meter, her resource meter goes up significantly faster, and the maximum purge goes up. What this means is that after, I think it's about 3 or 4 shots, her purge meter would be completely full, and you won't have to fill it up for the rest of the fight. It's more of a convenience thing. She does apply more stun, which is good. Upon using Aftershock, trigger gains 1 stack of Hunter's Gaze. So this is the stack mechanic she gets from her cinemas. When executing a finishing move in sniper stance, she gains 2 stacks of Hunter's Gaze. Each stack of Hunter's Gaze increases all members' crit damage by 6%, stacking up to 4 times, lasting 10 seconds. It's not wild and crazy, but its uptime is actually wild and crazy. So notice it says using Aftershock for a finishing move. She's going to be aftershocking almost continuously because of the way that her purge works. Actually, I might just read purge just so you get a clearer idea of how the purge mechanic works and how it works with her X special and her ultimate. And the fact is that her aftershock triggers the triggering condition. Funny enough, the triggering condition for aftershock is basically goes from a list of 4 or 5 things to like you can look at the dude and she's gonna snipe him. So raises the crit damage 4 times, right? So that's 24% crit damage. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. It's not the 24%. It's the fact that you will continuously have that 24% available. So when trigger enters or extends coordinated support, while this state is active, coordinated support is whenever she uses her X special or her ultimate, and it gets a gold bar on top of her purge meter, and it doesn't use purge. That's what they mean by coordinated support. While the basic state is active, the next time squad member enters basic attack harmonizing shot. So these 2 ones, the basic attack harmonizing shot Tartarus, those are her aftershocks. It will trigger disconnect upon hitting an enemy, dealing damage equal to 200% of her attack and inflicting daze equal to 120% of trigger's impact. We'll look at her skills. Whatever. She's like my favorite character. We can dive into this. Oh yeah, right. Also, a 5-star having 4 extra levels in their skills is actually insane. I mean, I know that all the gacha games do it, but like when a character's already good and then you just throw that on there, it's like, all right, well, we broke the game, boys. This one is actually my favorite one, the AP round one. So upon entering the battlefield, trigger gains 5 armor break rounds. For every 25 purge consumed, trigger gains 1 additional armor break round, up to a maximum of 5 rounds. So basically, you want to use her rounds when you get onto the battlefield, and then just swap her out. While possessing armor break rounds, when trigger hits a target in sniper stance, 1 armor break round is consumed to deal additional electric damage up to 1200% of trigger's attack. Armor break damage is additionally increased by 50%. This effect can trigger once every 0.2 seconds. What it means is you one-shot mobs, and you absolutely, because I already told you, it's the amount of damage, and then crit applied, like if it crits or not, and then an impact multiplier. So she's just slapping. You slap a couple rounds into him, and then you swap out, and then you come back. It is absolutely insane. I love Trigger. Yeah, she's got 68%. She got high crit rate. Impact is like not as high as other characters, but it's not. The reason for that, it's not her base impact. I'll show you. Hold on. Okay. When Trigger's Aftershock hits an enemy, the target's stun damage multiplier increases 35% for 5 seconds. The stun damage multiplier increase will apply even if the target isn't stunned. When another character in your squad is an attack character shares the same attribute, which is a fair number of characters, when Trigger's crit rate exceeds 40%, each 1% crit rate above this threshold increases her days dealt by Aftershocks by 1.5% up to a maximum of 75%. So I'm about 30% over that threshold. And then if you do the math, that's about 45% more. And that's on Aftershocks. So it's not going to display on the page. So it's 45% of 154, which is... Wait, did it say 45%? Yeah, 45%. So that's 67.5 roughly. So 67.5, which puts her into over 200. So about 210, 214 impact, which is way higher than the other characters, by the way. So she's punching them. And I don't even, yeah, her base attack is up all the way because that's associated with, so basic attack. So these harmonizing shots, these are all basic attacks. All of her aftershocks are considered basics. All right, the important part of the X special, one, it triggers a quick assist, so it gets her off the battlefield, which is good. She does way more damage when she's off the battlefield, unless she has AP rounds. When the skill hits an enemy, trigger enters coordinated support. While in this state, another active character in the squad hits an enemy or attack, like with any attack, she triggers her aftershock, consuming purge with no cooldown restrictions. So no cooldown restrictions. So if Zhu Yuan, which is where we usually pair her with, when Zhu Yuan goes on the field, every time she hits, an aftershock happens, and she does a harmonizing shot. So basically, it's like having two characters on the field at the same time. She also gets a 35% boost in her aftershocks, not including her discs. So this state lasts for 8 seconds, affecting trigger up to 4 times. Repeatedly entering coordinated support extends the duration and grants additional triggers, lasting a maximum of 20 seconds and triggering up to a maximum of 10 times. So she's out there, she's blasting. Like true sniper style. But that's what I want to go over with trigger. I guess I could show you the discs. It's just impact, electro damage, crit rate. That's it. She's got her Siggy. Oh, she's got R2 Siggy. Wild. Strong like a bear. Okay. Old SAnby. So C0 SAnby was sluggish whenever I played her, and I tried a couple times because I really wanted the SAnby to work in the demo, and I was like, I got baited into getting her C2 was basically what happened. So, and the thing is, her C1 and C2 smooth out her gameplay so freaking much. So it triggers additional damage of White Thunder 3 times. This effect does not consume any White Thunder stats. So whenever she uses her X special attack, any previous stacks you had on it stay, and she basically goes up, she does a little whirly-do, throws her blades out, and then you can basically tap her X special button repeatedly and just kind of slice them up. This one's really good. So this one straight up gives her 12% crit rate, which makes her build a little bit more flexible. And when she does her ultimate, she gets 6. Now, generally, whenever I go in, so it applies 6 stacks. It says max 6 stacks. And then you will then slice and dice them up to 8 to 10 times. So with Thunder's Cry, when using special attack as your flash to hit an enemy on White Thunder, it will consume 1 stack of Thunder's Cry instead. That's where her Slice and Dice. Only one stack of Thunder's Cry will be consumed when a single use of the skill hits multiple enemies. Consuming Thunder's Cry will also activate additional damage from White Thunder. What this means is that you get way more bang for your buck whenever she attaches White Star. Okay, yep. Seth, he's C6. Good shield anomaly character. He's another character who swaps backwards. Much like Pulchra and Trigger, they swap to the person previous in the lineup. There's not much to say here. You charge up his thing, it charges up really fast. His energy regeneration rate is good, as well as his energy requirement is pretty low, so great character. Grace? Fuck Grace. Fuck Grace. 6 times. 6 times. She's cucked me. 6 times. Let that sink in. It could have been anybody. It could have been Koleda. It could have been another Lycaon. It could be another Rina. But no. Keep getting Grace. Fuck. Grace sucks. Like, out of all the characters... I mean, yeah, you can play her if you want. She's an Electro Anomaly. But I can tell you right now, most Electro characters trigger Shock without Anomaly proficiency, without being geared for it, a literal crap ton. Like, Shock is you just shock people all the time. And it just so happens Shock characters synergize with other Shock characters, so it doesn't matter. Stupid Grace. Anby, great starter, great stunner. If you want to build her and you want to use Anby only as your stunner, very simple, low energy requirement, and her impact is actually pretty high, and her combo's easy. There's not much to say there. Simple character, she does her job well, and she's Anby. Harumasa, got him for free, haven't built him. I don't even have his engine. I got him for free, and he's just been sitting there. I don't like his playstyle. I know how to play Harumasa, don't get me wrong. Like, I have, when they force you to use Harumasa, I actually had to lock in and be like, okay, so how do you use this guy? And I had to figure it out, and so I did. It's just not my flavor. That's it. Sure, he's a good character. Anton, good attack. He's a good attacker. He's not mobile, is the problem. And if you have him in a group with Ben Bigger, now you have 2 relatively immobile dudes. You know what I mean? He can sit there and shred people, but I just didn't like the lack of mobility in a game that's like has a relatively fast pace and has a lot of enemies that kind of like zoom around. It just wasn't a good fit. For more stationary, like, I think that he's perfectly built for the Belobog enemies, which is the machines with the big chainsaw and the bucket and all that stuff. I think he excels at that because his machines don't move very far, and he's got he can resist a lot of damage whenever he's stationary. I believe it's probably one of his cinemas. I'm not going to bother looking at it, but he's good at that. Like, he's good at the job for the story arc, but other than that,
it's our turn,
it's
bro.
meh. All right,
Come on, let's get to work.
that's everybody.